afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you to the Norristown Area High School girls lacrosse game. Today, the Eagleettes are playing Ajax High School, which is a team that is on spring break from Ajax, Ontario, Canada. Before we begin the game, we're going to have a traditional pin exchange ceremony with the girls from Canada and the girls from the United States. So that's what you're going to view right now. Just a moment, we're getting the microphone set up there. All right, speaking right now is the coach of Norristown Area High School, Miss Debbie Doyle. Debbie is a graduate of Norristown High School, and she is also a graduate of Lock Haven University. Debbie currently works for the East Norton Recreation Department as their assistant. Now, as you see the girls coming across, they will exchange pins, which is a traditional custom in lacrosse, especially with international games. This team that's traveling here from Canada is currently on like a semester break or a spring break that they are coming down. See, Canada normally plays box lacrosse, and I would say in the past 10 years they've started to play regular field lacrosse, which is what you're going to see today. Box lacrosse in Canada is played indoor in an arena, sort of like the wings down at the Spectrum, and it's a little bit more physical game than what we're used to. Now, in girls lacrosse, there's absolutely no contact whatsoever, and so this is a good experience for both teams, a very good experience for both teams. The Canadians are building. They have a Canadian national team now that participates in our national tournament, which is held annually at various locations in the United States. This year, the national tournament is being held at Germantown Academy, which is right here in the Philadelphia area. So if anyone gets a chance and would like to see some top-level lacrosse, you could go to Germantown Academy. It's held Saturday, Sunday, and Monday over Memorial Day vacation. So if you want to see some really good lacrosse, that would be the time to go. Helping me today narrate this game is a graduate of Norristown High School also. With me is Debbie Fricker. Debbie played last year for Norristown and is currently taking some courses at Monco and also teaching gymnastics, and is going to be doing some aerobics hopefully in the future, and she's going to be going for her certification. Deb played all 4 years that she was at Norristown High School. We're just about ready to get started on the game. Deb, how's a game of lacrosse started?
It started by a draw between the two centers on the field. Both of them will line up at the middle of the circle, and they bend down, and both of them force their sticks together and push them up into the air.
Okay, in hockey, I think it's a little different in hockey. They just start out, one team starts right out with a free position. Isn't that right?
Yes, and they will push back to their own players.
All right, so in lacrosse, the whole idea is to react to the whistle, and sort of the first team that can react to the referee blowing her whistle will actually gain the advantage. Can the players enter that center circle before the whistle is drawn?
No, they cannot do that. They have to wait until the whistle's drawn and until the ball is up and out of their cradles.
Okay, how far does the ball have to go up above the player's head? Does it have to go above their player's head, or is it just a little bit, or can it drop down on the ground?
They have to force the ball up above the player's head. If it's not above the player's head, they will start the draw over again.
Okay, then once the draw is taken, then the game is played in the air. What happens when the ball goes on the ground?
When the ball goes on the ground, usually the one that is closest to it, the team that is closest to the ball, will try to go for a ground pickup. They'll bend down and try to pick the ball up with their stick, with their cross. Hopefully they'll come up with it, and if they do, then the other player will be right on them as defense.
Okay, I see the teams are huddling now and preparing to get ready for the games. How about if I give you a starting lineup for the Canadians teams? All right, this is Ajax High School, as I said before, and they're from Ontario, Canada. They traveled down. They left yesterday, stopped, I guess, midway in New York, and then came right here today. After today's game, they will be traveling to Methacton High School, and Methacton will be housing them for a couple days, and then I believe they're going to also play Jenkintown High School. The starting lineup for the Ajax High School team is at point, we have Shauna Grubb, number 46. At cover point, Robin Clendinging, number 35. At third man, Samantha Boys, number 33. At center, Kim Ledger, number 45. At defense wing, Jen Copens, number 32. At the other defense wing, Sharon Cook, number 44. At third home, Tammy Harvey, number 47. At second home, Anna Collier, number 28. And at first home, Jen Hardy, number 30. Starting in the goal cage will be, and I don't seem to have that right now. We'll get back to you as to what the goalie's name is. I don't seem to see it here on our list. All right, I mentioned different kinds of names like point, cover point, third home, stuff like that. What are the positions like in lacrosse? What's offense and what's defense, Deb?
Actually, all of the players have to play both offense and defense. The only one that really doesn't is the goalie. At center, there's center, right attack wing, left attack wing. They're more of your offensive players. Then there's left defense attack wing, right defense attack wing. They're more of your defensive players. But usually during the game, they both have to play offense and defense.
All right, we just got a word that the goalkeeper's name is Christy Ellinger. Christy Ellinger. All right, we're just about ready to start the game. In girls lacrosse, there are two officials that officiate, and you see some of the officials have yellow flags on them. What is the yellow flag for, Deb?
It's a warning flag. That means that if the official throws that flag up, that one of the girls is going to be warned that maybe they pushed a girl, or they had their stick in their face, something like that, and they're just going to be warned. Now, if the official throws a red flag up or a red card, then that means that they're going to be kicked out of the game.
Okay, here we go. We're off and running. Canada gains the first possession. All right, nice clean pass. They're looking to create spaces. The whole thing with lacrosse. All right, we've got a turnover there. And Norristown's gained possession. That's Tiffany Lett, third man going down. Now someone from Canada should be picking her up and taking the free player. And there's a goal. Deb, is it normal for a defense player to score a goal?
Sometimes it is. It depends. Usually if it's a cover point or a point, not normally because they're so far down. When it's a defense attack wing, right or left, they usually have a chance of scoring, but it's better to pass the ball down. It's not really good to have your girls running back and forth because they'll get worn out.
All right, yeah, that was she was pretty deep on the defensive end when she picked up that loose ground ball. Norristown needs to create a space and cut to her. I noticed a lot of the girls were cutting away. All right, now we're gaining possession again. Now someone needs to be cutting to her. Open up a space and cut to her. All right, here's number 34, Kirsten Arner. All right, she's an attack wing.
Now she needs to look for someone to pass to. There she is. She passes to Jeanette DeBold.
All right, now, Jeanette should feel that there's two, if she had, Jeanette should have felt that there were two Canadians on her, but Canada gained the possession. All right, now, someone from Canada should have cut to her. All right, Beth has a high cradle. She's got to drop that right arm a little bit. She did a shovel shot. All right, a shovel shot, is that an easy shot to shoot?
It's one of your basic shots that you would first learn when you start playing girls lacrosse. You just swing down underneath your arm just like you're using a shovel, like to shovel snow or something like that. And you usually come all the way across the cage and look for the opposite corner to shovel into.
All right, that was Bethany Weiser that scored. Bethany is a sophomore here at Norristown High School. All right, I see that after every score, they go right back to the center and they do a center draw. Is that after every score, Deb?
Yes, after every score they do that.
Okay, Canada, the third home from Canada, has gained possession here. All right, I see that they're doing some hitting of the sticks. Is that legal? I see that we just got a stoppage of play.
It can be legal as long as it's away from the body, as long as it's not interfering with their head. What the girls have is an imaginary bubble from shoulder to shoulder over the head. If one of the other defensive sticks were to come into that bubble, the official will call that, and it will be against the defensive player.
Okay, so the bubble is like around the person's head, and that's like kind of like a safety feature.
Right.
Okay, I don't notice any boundary lines or anything. Are the players allowed just to run wherever they want to go?
There are no boundaries in lacrosse, but when it becomes too far out, the official will call it, and they'll just bring the two girls back onto the field.
All right, here's Jeanette. This is Janet Hagel coming down to goal. She's got two people on her, and she took a really bad shot with a really strange angle. Someone from Norristown should have been creating a space, or Janet should have looked for a free person because she had two players on her. What do you think about that, Deb?
I think she should have either held onto the ball and taken it around the goal cage, or like you said, she should have looked for someone. Her teammates need to be there for her to create a space for her to go to.
Okay, that was Lauren Wolf, who is playing, I believe she's playing third home. She took the ball behind the goal cage and just came right on around. Nobody was on her. Who should have been taking her? She's a third home.
The cover point or the point should have picked her up. Usually the cover point's back there and they're waiting for that open girl to come in, and Lauren was open. She should have picked her up.
All right, I noticed you can just go behind the goal cage. Can you just go behind her at any time?
Yes, you can go back there anytime. The girls usually take it back there to create a space. If they have the ball, they're going to wait for their team to set up, wait for offense to get down, and just hope that one of their teammates can get open and go for the shot.
Okay, Norristown's gained possession here again. The ball seems to be down on the ground quite a bit here. I noticed some of the. All right, now there was two girls on one Canadian. Is that normal? Is that allowed?
That can be allowed. The girls, it's called double teaming. That would mean that one of their girls is maybe back far enough where she could drop off her player and come and help her teammate out to get the offensive player that's coming into their goal.
All right, she's just standing right there, and it looked like she gave her just a free shot at goal. I see two arcs down there. Can you give me a little explanation as to what those two arcs are?
There's a circle that is immediately around the goal cage, and what that's for is the goalie's protection. If there's a stick that crosses that circle, then there will not be a goal. If the ball were to go in, the goal will not count. There's a 15-meter arc that's out there, and that's for the shot if they have a free possession. If attack gets free possession of the ball down in that 15-meter arc, then they're going to have to come out to that arc, and they can have a free possession and take a shot.
Okay, we had a shot on goal down there by Canada, and a good stop by Amy Robinson, the goalkeeper. It seems right now that Norristown's not marking very closely, and there's a lot of passes that are being made. Oh, there's a loose ball on the ground. Nice pickup, Tiffany. Nice pickup, Tiffany Letch. Tiffany's a sophomore from Norristown. The two arcs, I believe the first arc is 8 meters from the goal cage. All right, now you just saw a flag that just went up. That means that someone from Norristown is either in her shooting space or she's being double teamed for longer than 3 seconds. In that 8-meter area, or actually in the 12-meter area, if you double team a person for longer than 3 seconds, then a flag is thrown, in which case it's almost like taking a free shot on goal. The offense should just take a shot as quickly as they can. As you can see now, she's lined up at the 8-meter mark, and there's a shot on goal, and usually if it's one-on-one with the goalie, it should always be a score. So it's extremely important that you mark very closely in that 8-meter and 12-meter area. You have anything to add on that, Deb?
Just that when they come into that area, the girls need to be on their attack players. The defense needs to be right with their attacker. They are going to have that free position. They need to stay with their player, not double team right in that area.
All right, we go back to center again for the center draw. Drawing for Norristown High School is a sophomore, Debbie Harbaugh, and drawing for the Canadian team is Kim Ledger. Okay, that draw. All right, who would you say wins the advantage on that draw if it goes in that angle?
I would say that Canada would have the advantage. When it goes over, when she forces up, if it goes to her right attack wing, then it would be to Canada's advantage.
Okay, I think we have a left and right problem there. I think isn't that the left attack wing on that side, Deb? Yeah, as you face right, because I think the best way to remember, and I do this a lot myself. You stand there and you think, well, which is the left and which is the right? And actually, in lacrosse, there is a left and a right. The way you determine that is you face the goal you are attacking, and then the players that are on your left, the left defense wing, left attack wing, they are the left side, and then the right side is obviously right attack wing, right defense wing. Deb, I didn't see who scored that goal. Did you happen to see who scored that goal? Okay, maybe we'll get a verification for who scored that goal.
Janet, she scored. Who scored?
Okay, we had a score by Jeanette Diebold. Jeanette Diebold, she's a senior this year. All right, Jeanette is looking to go to Muhlenberg University in the fall. All right, there's a nice pickup by Tiffany. Tiffany's having a really great game. Now, she's making another long run here, and now I see two Canadian people pull off on her. And another score by Tiffany. That is really unusual.
It was a good shot, but Tiffany should have looked for someone to pass to. There were people there for her to pass. And what's going to happen is she's probably going to get tired later on in the game and regret taking these long shots, these long turns down to goal.
All right, now what Deb was saying is there were two Canadian players on her, and she's a defense player, and her attack player, shouldn't her attack player come down with her?
Her attack player should be right on her, and for some reason she's leaving her go. She's not sticking with her, and she needs to.
All right, so that's going back to what you said in the very beginning of the program, that you really have to play both offense and defense. If you're an offensive player and supposed to be scoring, you really have to play defense. If your girl goes down and takes it on the offense, you've got to go back and guard her because there's no one else to pick her up.
Right, that's right. The other thing I'd like to say about the draw, the two centers that we have are drawing left-handed. The one center, the Canadian center, is drawing left-handed. That's why both players are on the same side of the hash in the center of the circle.
Okay, there was Debbie Harbaugh. She forced the ball a little bit. I think she could have looked for a free player. All right, you hear a horn there. What does that mean, Deb?
That means that Norristown has the ball right now, which means if their coach wants to substitute in, now she may substitute in, and that's what that horn's signaling.
So you can, now let me see if I have this right. You can substitute at any time that the whistle blows?
No, you can only substitute in when the whistle blows for your team. If it's your attack that has the ball, then you may sub in unless the official calls in, like your offense has to have the ball.
All right. I think he can sub. I'm not exactly certain, but I think he can sub after every goal too. As long as anytime there is a stoppage in play, you can sub. And I think the rule is in the first half you can re-enter. If someone comes out of the game, you can re-enter. But in the second half of the game, you cannot re-enter once you've been substituted for. In lacrosse, it's different than in football. It's different than in basketball. They play quarters. But I understand lacrosse is played in halves.
They play 25-minute halves, and they'll have like a 10-minute halftime.
Okay, I understand that in lacrosse, a coach can call a timeout if she wants to. How long is a timeout?
2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, I see another sub from Norristown just went in. That's Val DiPietro. She's a sophomore, and she's giving Tiffany Lett a little rest. That's good because she's just made 2 long runs. All right, we have a score by Kirsten Arner. Kirsten Arner is only a junior. And We're looking for some big things out of her next year. Kirsten's got a lot of good speed, and she plays left attack wing. Deb, I noticed some of the sticks are different for the Canadian girls as opposed to the American girls, for the Norristown girls. What's the difference in the sticks?
Well, there's metal sticks and then there's the wooden sticks. Some of the players are using the metal sticks, but mostly they'll stick to the wooden sticks because it's more traditional.
Okay, I read somewhere that it is believed. Oh, that was a nice pickup, but she lost it on her cradle. I read somewhere that the major difference between, and I think they're called molded head sticks now. They have aluminum shafts. The difference between the molded head stick and the wood stick is that it's much harder to check the ball out of a molded head stick than it is the wood stick, and thus that's the reason why a lot of the women coaches are staying away from the molded head sticks, because they feel it lends to a more dangerous game. They feel the girls will start slipping their hands and checking. Nice pass there from Heather Weichert. All right, looking for the free player there, Kirsten. I think she was being just a little bit too unselfish there. She could have made the defensive girl force it a little bit more. All right, we're having a pickup problem here in goal. Nice stop by the goalie. That was a shot by Laura Oberholzer. All right, and the goalie. All right, you said there's a circle around the goalie. Do you know what that's called?
The trace. Crease.
Crease. Yeah, that's it. Crease. The crease is has a 6 foot radius, and no one from the other team, not even her own team, can enter that crease area. The goalie, once she stops the ball, does she have a time restriction as to how long?
10 seconds. Oh, she has a time restriction of 10 seconds.
That doesn't seem like a lot of time. I guess her players really have to make good cuts for her to get the ball to her in 10 seconds.
Usually they'll practice, when they have practice, the goalie knows which side she wants to go to. Their players will automatically know who should drop back and get the ball from the goalie.
Yeah, I guess it would be. I'm a former goalkeeper myself. I played for Plymouth Whitemarsh and in hockey and lacrosse, and I also played at East Stroudsburg University. I was a goalkeeper for many years, almost too many that I'd like to count. And they got a lot of extra padding down there. The goalies that they have now have to wear a helmet. All right, here's another long run by a Canadian team and a nice shot on goal. We'll see if we can get that number. All right, the goalie in that case, that was a single player coming down on her. She should have stepped out to cut off the angle a little bit, and she didn't. I believe that's the third home. Tammy Harvey. No, I take that back. She's coming up a little bit. Must not be the third home. All right, it looks like the defense wing. That's number 44, Sharon Cook. Yes, that's the defense wing, which means that Kirsten Arner didn't take her girl that time.
Kirsten has a tendency of sometimes running. She has so much speed that sometimes she'll run and stay in back of her player instead of remembering that she has to be right on that girl, and then sometimes her girl will turn on her and go down and play offense. And Kirsten's got to stay right with her girl just as much as her girl has to stay with her.
Yeah, like I see right now, Kirsten's going down loose now, but if her girl were to pick up a ball in the center of the field, she would be wide open. I don't know if she could like now the ball's coming towards center. Now, fortunately, the Canadian girl did not pick it up, but if Sharon Cook had made a run towards the ball and picked it up, Kirsten would not have been in a position to play that. Now there goes her girl down now. Okay, she's lucky. They didn't see her for the pass, but she was breaking towards goal, making a cut. I see one of the things that most of the players do when they want to pass, they stick their stick up. I think they call that lead with your stick. Wherever you want to go, all right, now Janet Hagel's going behind goal here. Now this isn't a definite advantage to go behind goal because the crease almost acts as a pick for the player. All right, now the goalie lost the ball. The goalie wanted to try to keep that ball in the crease so that the rebound couldn't have been picked up by another person. Now,
one thing I noticed about the Canadian players, many of them use only one hand. I know here at Norristown when we play, and a lot of the American style, we always use two hands on the sticks. they emphasize that using the two-hand. I don't know why in Canada why it's so different with the one-handed, but many players are just using one hand for going for the stick checking and to pick up the ball. They're using one hand.
All right, I think that's a spin-off, Deb, from maybe some of the box lacrosse. A lot of the men, I know when I've been down to many of the Wings game, they often ward off, which is illegal in women's lacrosse. They try to ward off with the one arm and use the other arm just to handle the stick. So that may be a spin-off. Now, their Canadian center is really winning all these draws. They're all going over to their attack wing, their left attack wing. So Deb Harbaugh is not anticipating. She's been quite ill of recent. She had some stomach problems, so she may just be suffering from fatigue. Plus, this is the first really hot day that we've had in a while this spring.
I think another thing that might be throwing Deb off with her drawing with the draw today is that the Canadian is a left-handed drawer, and maybe she just doesn't have much experience with left-handed drawing.
Yeah, I would find that a little disconcerting, too, to see another person facing the exact same way that I'm going. I would probably think that I'm in the wrong position. Right now, we've had another call here in the 8-meter area. Fortunately, it's not against Norristown. There must have been an illegal check. When can you check the stick?
You can check the stick when you're in front of your attack player. You cannot check from behind. You must be in front of the player. And it has to be a clean check.
Can you like just haul off and swing at the person, or does it have to be like a little short tap? I mean, what can the check be?
The check needs to be a nice, short, quick tap. You cannot just haul off and crack the stick or the player. It has to be nice, short, and clean.
Okay, I see the official was down. Oh, nice interception by Laura Oberholzer. All right, the problem there on that goalie clear was that Canada was standing still and not cutting to the ball. It is a definite advantage to cut to the ball and run through the ball, meaning to continue to run on the ball and don't stop. Many times the beginner will stand and just stick their stick up and kind of bat at it instead of kind of scooping it out of the air and keep running towards the ball. Okay, we're back to center draw again, and the Canadians again have won the draw and are breaking down the field. All right, there's a trip from behind, and that will definitely be an advantage towards the Canadians. It seems that she's fallen down on her hip. I can't quite tell who it is. Running out onto the field, you can hear a lot of the people yelling in the stands, "Go, Flinny, go." That's Mr. Dennis Flynn, the athletic trainer from Norristown High School, who will attend this person. Now, I noticed the girls on a stoppage of play, they can just, go anywhere they want. How do they know where to go back to, Deb?
Well, basically, sometimes they'll drop their sticks if that's the position that they want to go back to, and then they'll just keep their sticks there, and then they're free to walk around on the field to find out if the player's all right or to talk among the other teammates.
Okay, let's get back to some of the protective equipment that the goalie has on while we have this little stoppage of play here. The goalkeeper is required by the rules of lacrosse to wear a helmet that has a face mask on it. She also has a chest protector. A lot of goalkeepers will wear thick gloves to protect their hands, and a lot of them now are going to the hockey pants, like ice hockey pants, because there's extra padding around the hips and on the thighs. And then the Canadian goalkeeper here has and when we get a chance, we'll get a shot at the Canadian goalkeeper. She has what are called dolman kickers on. Now, these are actually hockey kickers. These are actually hockey kickers. You can see the yellow part on her legs. These are a little cumbersome. A lot of goalkeepers will try to run out of the goal cage and pick up a loose ball. But with those dolman goalie kickers on, they're a little awkward and a little cumbersome. I've seen a lot of players on the college level and also on the national level. They'll only wear sometimes the soccer protective padding on the shins, and they won't wear anything on the thighs to give them a little bit more mobility.